Hey, welcome to another episode of In Those We Trust podcast, Trust Sports Talk. Got my guy Liam in the building, and of course, the brother Yannick in the house, man. As the spring comes, we know who the spring ballers are, and Yannick is one of these guys, the spring ballers. We got to talk about some baseball. Liam, do you want to kind of, I looked into it. I knew going into the year that we had some changes to come, that the sport was looking to have a new coming of how to keep our fans interested and not just our diehard fans when it comes to the mundane time of August, July, and in those times. And I did talk to a Phillies fan, and he is one of those diehard, like, Phillies guys. And he actually talked about some of the rules affecting the Phillies more than anyone else based upon especially the shift rule. So I'll let you get into it, Liam, and then we'll bounce back and forth.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, a little bittersweet that we're leading off with baseball. I'm fucking pumped, but the fact we're leading off with it is for a bullshit reason. Yannick is a former collegiate ball player. Malik and I grew up playing ball with him. Wanted to get your take, Yannick, on a bunch of things. Obviously, we'll all kind of dive in, but to give a little brief background on some of the changes that we've been seeing in spring training early on. Bigger bases, a pitch clock, throw the shift away, and only throwing over twice on a pickoff move per batter. It's absolutely insanity. We'll start with the pitch clock because I think that's probably been the biggest thing early on. Matt,
I saw that the pitch clock is 15 seconds with bases empty.
Correct.
And then 20 seconds with a runner on.
Yep. And then Yannick and I were just talking about it too before we jumped on here. The batter needs to be looking at the pitcher ready to go with 8 seconds left. So there's a timer within a timer. Again, we've seen spring training games end with called third strikes on a batter not being ready. We've seen pitchers just being rushed and batters being rushed. It just looks to me, if I was just a regular, and again, I'm a diehard baseball fan, you guys know, but if I'm just a regular dude flipping through the channels and I'm watching that at-bat happen where this pitcher looks rushed and this batter looks rushed, like it looks unathletic. Like it just looks stupid. It's not going to make me want to continue to watch this game. Yannick, I'll turn to you first to get kind of your thoughts. I feel like I know them, but when it comes to this pitch clock, I mean, how stupid of an idea is it?
I mean, we've been going back and forth about it since they were even talking about it. Like, I mean, honestly, I didn't even know they were doing it in the bigs this year. I knew they were put it together through college a little bit, minor league ball and all that shit. But I mean, the best part of baseball was that there was no clock.
Exactly.
In my eyes.
Agreed.
Like that was like the main thing that separated like tournament ball from high school ball to college ball to this, to that, to this. Like tournament ball, you could play, like you had to drop that after 2 hours? Mm-hmm. Depending on what league you were in, stuff like that. That was the only timer we ever had. Yeah. Besides the sun.
Yeah,
you're exactly right.
But I think go ahead, yeah.
No, go ahead. No,
I think that when I look at like, okay, so as someone who played baseball my entire life, I don't start watching baseball until October, September. Like that's when I turn on. I'm like, all right, now it's when the fun begins. So when I look at
It's the best time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So when I look at the pitch clock, I think if you just bump up the clock, bump it up to where they have more time, because baseball is one of those sports where like if you're watching a ball like basketball is on and baseball is on at the same time. I'm not really watching baseball, I'm watching basketball, but now with the clock, it's making you be like, oh, I can't just get up and walk away and leave. Like it's going, you know what I mean? And like you're seeing these videos, like there's a famous video of like how many times could a Tuve score inside the park home run before one pitcher got the ball off? Yeah. It was like 7 times. So it's like I like the pitch clock. I think if we just raise it up, add more time to it.
That's a good point. Now, you can go ahead, Yannick.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna ask Malik, as a guy who only watches baseball, right, in those pre-playoff and playoff times.
Yeah.
Now we're at May 15th.
Right? Yeah.
You're watching the Phillies versus the Rays. Is this pitch clock going to say to you, fuck, you know what? I will wait and I'll watch this game now.
Yeah.
Will it?
I think it won't do that. You're right. I think it won't change me now being like, oh, I got to go see it. But I think if you're flipping through the channels, and as well, if you're a fan that's watching it, it's a lot quick. It's keeping you interested longer than if it was you see a guy keep throwing it over to first and stepping off. I'm changing immediately. I'm being like, all right, this is going to be here for a while. If I'm seeing pitches, you might get me to stay in for a little bit longer than I would if I kept seeing I understand. But again, that's for the fan who has no idea what baseball is. For me, I know what he's doing. I know the strategy behind it. I know he's trying to keep him safe, keep him close to the bag. I know all these things are into play. But again, imagine now for the fan that's at those games. It's a little bit more exciting at the gate if you're actually there, not just watching it, but when you're there, I just think if you up the time, you're good to go. Give the pitchers, I feel bad for the pitchers who need to go through that whole process. It's the same thing as if you were to shoot. Is there a shot clock on foul shot in basketball?
There is. 10 seconds.
How long do they get?
10 seconds.
And I feel like you see those guys go through the whole, they do the whole fucking thing before they go. There's pitchers that have to go through a whole fucking thing before they throw it.
Well, Bryce Harper, watch him before every at bat, man.
Yeah,
he'll step out. He'll do his little twist. He's not going to be able to do that this year.
Yeah. No.
Well, I thought of while we're getting into that routine thing, I was thinking about it all day. Actually, since you asked me to be on it, Liam. Think about a guy like Nomar Garcia.
Yep.
You think about that walking up to the plate. It takes him 35 seconds just to get to the plate.
Just to adjust.
Let alone in between each pitch.
Yeah.
Dude, he checks his shoes, does the gloves, does the bat, both hands, steps out again, keeps and goes back in. You think just doing that's 12 seconds right there. 15 seconds. It
is. And again, I could be in the minority and you guys can correct me, but we've played this game. We grew up playing this game. We grew up fucking watching this game. That is almost what makes baseball so sweet. These ball players, man, they are creatures of habit. They are superstitious down to a fucking T. You have to do the same things every single pitch. And to me, that's what's beautiful about this game. Baseball's a chess match. Baseball is a fucking battle. And Malik, you brought up a good point. It's going to make things more interesting to the average viewer. And to me, that is almost like a shame because the MLB, I've said for a while, is the worst run league in all of major sports. And it's not just this. It is the worst run league, and it sucks. But you are now, to me, saying, fuck our diehard fans that love this game of baseball. They're going to be back. Fuck them. Let's try to get the average Joe in on our ratings. Let's try to compete with the NFL because that's what these leagues are trying to do. Well,
no matter what, you're not going nowhere, Liam. The diehard fan's not going anywhere.
No, exactly. And I'm not, right? I'm not going to stop watching. Matt, you're not going to stop watching. Malik, September's going to come around. You're not going to stop. But, you're going to sit here and bitch about it. That's what I mean. It's almost just like a fuck you. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fine. So, it's just frustrating to see.
But I think that, to me, okay, well, you have two things, right? The shot clock or the pitch clock with the pitcher. I think the batter, the 8 second is wild. I think that's it gives me no time to be it takes at least minimum 3 seconds to look over to the third base coach, come back. I don't even know if in the leagues they're even looking at third base.
No, well, that's what we're even seeing. These dudes aren't even leaving the box. They're fucking head down.
You can't do anything. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Everyone has a reset. Woosah, reset, do your shit. I could do right now exactly what I did before getting it back. I had to have chewed gum. I had to spit on my hand, rub like I was jerking off the bat, get it stickier, get it back up, point, dang. That's already 10 seconds right there. It is 10 seconds. So imagine these guys who again, Bryce Harper does his bend to the knee sorority squat and then comes back up the bullshit. You know what I mean? So that to me hurts more because I'm all right, you're a batter. You have to refocus. The pitcher, you can kind of catch the ball and get right back to the mound and think there. Batter takes a while to get back into your stance, get ready to load it up and go. I think if you extend the time, you're good to go. What is the average? I want to see the reason behind this. What is the average pitch time that it takes from ball back to now? They were okay, it should be 20 seconds with runners on or 50 seconds with no run. How did they come with these numbers?
It's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. The statistic I do have was for the averages of the games. So I believe the average MLB game last year took around 3 hours and 20 minutes or so. Which guess what?
Definitely up after the whole COVID break, all that crazy shit. Yeah. Definitely up.
Exactly. But let me ask
commercial numbers.
Yes. And let me ask you this now. How long do you think the average NFL game is?
Man, with halftime, probably 2.5.
3 hours and 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
it's more exciting.
It's not the fact that these games
they have a clock, and they have a clock.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, like, the reason you're never going to be able to compete with the NFL is you can walk into a bar on week 3, and it's going to be Lions and Texans, and you're going to see that entire bar looking at that fucking screen. Why? Because they have someone on their fantasy team or they bet on the game. You just you don't get that with baseball, and that's what draws in the average football fan. Hey, I'm not a big fan of either team. The 2 worst teams in the league are on, but I got that one receiver on my fantasy team, and I took the Lions to cover the spread in the first half.
Do you do fantasy baseball?
I do, but no, like average baseball fan, because it's every day. Like, you have to set your lineups every single day. Like, it's not a Sunday morning thing or a Thursday night game. You might have to tweak 1 or 2 things. You're waking up on a Tuesday morning getting ready to go to work, and you got to set your lineups. Nobody's doing that.
Yeah.
That is the hardest fucking thing in the world.
Really?
I did fantasy baseball 1 time ever in my life, and I should have just handed the dude a $50 bill. I mean, you think about it. You depend on how many guys you have on a team.
Yeah.
25 guys. You can have guys from 25 different teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
25 teams times 162.
Yeah.
That's how many games you got to watch.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Unless they play each other, but still, it's when you get think about it. Even if you're watching one team, you watch one team, you're down. You got to watch every game.
Yeah.
You get 3 nights, 3 days a week, 3 days a month.
I think it's too long. I think also the season is too long, in my opinion. I know all the games they have to play, but it's a fucking. I mean, look, it's fucking. What are we at? We just started March, and they're already spring training, and we go all the way into October. That's a fucking hike, bro. Football, you get 3 months. You get a little, and preseason is 2 weeks. How long is fucking spring training? Then going into fucking the season. The season starts September. Like it's. I mean, August. It's so much shit that goes into baseball. I think you can. I think it's making it more fun for people to see. Like, it's in the news now. Who gave a fuck about baseball unless it was like only time you see baseball is a crazy outfield catch, triple play, double plays, or someone breaks a stat, a record.
Or if you're within like 6 states, you see Phillies are in the series. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean,
it's only if they're in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's when it pops up and gets their research in and goes to watch highlights and all that shit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, okay, let's say football and baseball were on at the same fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
As every fan, like who's watching what? We're treating baseball like it's fucking soccer in the U.S. at this point. No one gives a fuck about baseball at this point. And it's sad. That's the American sport. If you want to say any sport is an American sport, it's baseball. But we're treating it like soccer in America.
A lot of people now are the only time they watch baseball is on ESPN the next day.
Yeah.
If you ask me.
I mean, just look at this city and the people that we know. How many people I saw that I didn't know these people knew who the Phillies were. But then the playoffs happen, it's like they need to be watching every single pitch, right? And that's
all you got to do is buy a shirt.
Yeah.
And you're a baseball fan.
Yeah.
Buy a hat. Everyone at least have the hat. Everyone has the Phillies, the Yanks, someone has the hat on. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And if you were to ask me, I could tell you right now, the last baseball game I remember physically watching full through was the Captains' last game, or in the World Series, the Phillies World Series. That was it. That's a game I on my own was like, oh fuck, I can't. There's no way I'm missing this game. Like, I have to be watching this game. And then it was because we started the podcast, I got to be watching the fucking games because the podcasts are on. I want to see the Phillies lose. The Yanks are already out.
And that's my point, bro. Is like, I get what they're trying to do with these rules, but it's not going to translate. Like, it's just not going to have guys like it's not going to have Malik Howard go, oh, the bases are bigger. Fuck yes. Like, June 2nd, I'm definitely tuning in to watch a full game.
That one didn't make sense to me because I looked that one up and I was like, what? And it was like, the only reason they said this is because it has like a 30% difference in the minor leagues of helping alleviate injuries. Like, how do you get that stat? How do you say the stat is coming from running the bases? Let's make them bigger. Like, to me, I hate getting out of all these rules, right? You have the new pitch. To me, I hate the shift more than anything. Because I believe, to me, that's like saying you have to get rid of certain formations in football. That's what you equate that to.
It's like trying to get rid of the quarterback sneak.
No. Shut the fuck up. Like, hell no. Don't do that one.
No, but I mean, like you're saying, if you put it in football, you're sitting your safeties all the way back.
Safeties can't roam, and or you're saying, you know what? You can't put a guy in motion, or no more wildcat. There can't be no like, it's getting rid of a formation, and it's like in my eyes that's strategy. So you mean to tell me it's almost like, I don't know, like there's certain games that you play that you're like you have to stay in one position for 1 second, 2 1 second, 3 seconds, then I can move.
Yeah,
it's like what are we doing here? What's crazy story in Cherry Hill, they actually did that to me in football. I played defensive line. I had so many like sacks that it said, Malik, when the ball is snapped, you have to count to 4 seconds. Mississippi, I swear to God, on everything I love, so I had to sit there and go 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. And the ball is hiked. I couldn't go because I was just going through so quick that like you have to count 4 Mississippi. That's what it feels like. It's like stay in your spot. You can't move, guys. T-ball, you can't move. Stay in your spot. Now you brought the thing of Liam that it's possible that you saw like arena football, like the guys would run pre to the play. I don't think that's like you're able to do that because you'll see guys having to like if their ball gets hit in the gap that they have to sprint back and they'll miss balls and stuff like that. I think what you brought up a great point is infielder up.
But real quick, you're gambling with a shift in itself.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you see, you got to watch up the highlight video of Robinson Cano.
Yeah.
They put the shift on. He bunts a ball right down the third base line, gets a double.
Yeah.
Double in the books.
Yeah.
Didn't even swing the bat. And if you watch that, if he does that in an actual swing, it's not even a strike.
Yeah. I hate that. I don't know. To me, that's what it hurts.
It's just such an old like man take, I feel like. But these dudes are getting paid how much money to fucking not be able to hit a ball the opposite way?
Hit the ball the other fucking way.
I mean,
how fucking hard?
Yeah, and again, like you just brought up, if you can't hit the opposite way, just like Robinson Cano did in that video you just mentioned, or Bryce Harper did a couple times. If you do it enough, guess what they're not going to do next time? Shift.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
hey, Liam loves throwing his Phillies into every conversation, bro. Jesus
I mean, I have to, bro. They're defending NL champs. Why wouldn't I?
So what is baseball? Okay, so going into the season, I'm not sure if you guys are like those diehard fans. Who are your teams to watch besides the Phillies and, of course, the Yankees? America's team in my eyes when it comes to baseball. Who are your teams to look out for around the league? Who should I be paying attention to?
Yannick, you want to lead it off?
I have no fucking idea. I'll be honest. Yeah, the only baseball I've watched this entire year, which is a week, was highlights of bullshit shot the fucking pitch clock.
Pitch clock, yeah.
You see the 15 injuries already, or whatever, however many there are. That's all I see.
Really, there's a lot of injuries.
Yeah, there's some dudes already out for the year. Dodgers.
Yeah, Gavin Lux, I think. Look up the video. It's he's running to third, and his leg just gets stuck in the ground, and he tears his ACL because his right knee just pops right out.
Bad, dude.
Jesus Christ!
But it's like the cleanest video to watch if you don't have any knowledge of sports. But if like us three would all look at that, and, like I winced and looked away.
Yeah.
Jeez, I didn't see that anywhere. I gotta see it.
Yeah, it was bad. It looked bad, bro. I guess a few teams just to look out for, and then we can talk about. Obviously, I think the NL East in general is the best division in baseball. I mean, the Phillies, Braves, and Mets, I hate to fucking say it, are legitimate title contenders at this point. Maybe not the Mets. They always find a way to.
The Mets are at the top of that, especially what they did in the offseason.
No, Mets. I wouldn't put the Mets on. Honestly, as a Phillies fan, I'm biased, but I look at a team that just went to the World Series and added the best shortstop in the league. So I would put the Phillies at top of that, but the Braves scare the shit out of me. I'm more afraid of the Braves than I am the Mets. Because the Mets always find a way to fuck it up anyway.
Yeah, the Mets are the Mets, but at the end of the day, are you excited to see what they do with this team?
The Mets?
Yeah. No, or you just say fuck the Mets.
Fuck the Mets.
Damn, Licata. Sorry, Licata.
Yeah. He knows how I feel. Yeah. I guess any other teams, man. I mean, the Cardinals might be fun. A team to always look out for, I'll give you this, and it's probably going to smack me in my fucking face. They have all the talent in the world as the Angels. I mean, they have arguably the two best players in baseball, and Anthony Rendon is a top-tier third baseman when he's healthy. They were just a shit show last year, but it's like one of those teams that they're almost like the Chargers in a way. Like they have the talent every single year, and it's like, fuck, like they should be so good, but they're not. Yeah. But I guess at the least, like if they stay healthy, it'll be fun to watch.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong.
But
what else you got, Liam?
No, I mean, I honestly just like back to the baseball rules. I guess just one last thing. I know we touched on the shift. Yannick, I know you have some fun stories you just told me about, like what you've seen in college and on some of the shifts. Maybe share a couple stories. What do you got? And then
so one of my all-time favorites. We played at Rutgers. We played this team. I won't drop names, but they would send their second baseman out to about 20 feet short of their right fielder. They would send their third baseman in between the pitcher and first base, and they would send their shortstop to just about second base.
Jesus.
And that wasn't a shift for a hitter. Like that's not if a lefty's up. That's not if like anybody's up that hits it a specific way. So that was if they thought a bunt was going to happen in a situation.
Really?
So that's their way to cover a bunt. That's a bunt play for them. And we would all know it was going to happen. And that was some of the craziest shit you'll ever see is when a pitcher comes set and everybody moves at the same time and goes that. And that just put that situation in your head and think about that while you're hitting. And you're supposed to get a bunt down.
Yeah.
You know?
So a bunt has been called. Like they're right. A bunt was called.
You guys know how baseball situations are.
Yeah.
Especially like high school, college.
Yeah.
If you don't get this bunt down right now.
Yeah.
Tuesday practice is.
Yeah.
It's one of them situations.
So it's funny. Me and Kat in her job got in a huge ass fight because we were at the Phillies game, and Kat was like, "Someone home run," and she was like, "I don't get why they don't do that every time. Like you get paid millions to do this. Like I could do that. Please explain to her." How hard it is to hit a baseball. It's one of the hardest things to do.
It's the hardest thing in all of sports, I believe.
Yes.
Just a lot of people get to choose where they hit the ball. Yeah. So, you hit it every once in a while, so that brings everybody back in because there's so much time in between pitches. Not now.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
But no, it is easily. If you ask me, it is one of the hardest things on the planet to do.
I forget what football player I was watching a podcast, and he was talking. Oh, never mind. It was Ken Griffey Jr. Ken Griffey Jr. was on a podcast, and he would have NFL guys come to his house all the time. They would talk shit, and he was like, they were more scared to get in the batter's box than I would be scared to go play on the field with pads and everything on. You don't understand. Like I was like, first of all, the embarrassment that happens in baseball. It's so embarrassing when it's embarrassing when someone dunks on you. Like, I guess that's the most embarrassing thing you can get in sports.
Yeah.
But when you get tricked in a pitch and you get the curve that you think is at you, you fucking buckle, and you're like, fuck, now I have to walk back. It's long. I have to go walk back to the dugout. A dunk happens, the play starts right away. I now have to go walk to the dugout, and no one says, usually, some people may say, like, fuck, dude. But usually you soak in that bitch yourself, and you're in your mental now for the rest of the day.
Now you got to get right back in the box.
I was going to say,
yeah, let's say it's the third pitch. Like, fuck me. Like, that to me is like, it's so much in it. Like, I don't know. You really can't be tricked out of things. Like, you may have some basketball players that they have the ball on a string and they're able to go. But baseball is like, this guy has so many tricks. Like, he could throw whatever to you. He has a sack full of pitches to just beat you with.
And I always put it in this perspective. You can take the top 5 athletes in every league, right? Take the top 5 baseball players, have them go play basketball. Take the top 5 football players, have them go play basketball. Take fucking LeBron, he can play tight end. Take these guys, put them in the batter's box, and just watch how unathletic some of the greatest athletes we have look in the batter's box. It's not.
Don't even put them. Not even at a major league level. Not even a professional level.
Yeah,
but that's what people don't understand. When you watch that Jordan documentary, how good Jordan had to be as an athlete to go into AAA and have a decent batting average. Like that just showed you how good of an athlete he was. People are like, "Oh, it's just whatever." It's not whatever.
No.
What Bo Jackson did is not whatever. What Deion Sanders did, it's not whatever. This is why you compare them to be the best athletes of all time, because they did those things. To play in a World Series and be like, let me go hit a home run in a World Series and then also go have a kick return and score in an NFL game. Come on, son.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
In the pros. Like, it's not like Sandlot.
This is the top of the top.
Yeah. It's not like recess.
Yes. And get paid that money. Yo, Yannick, last question. Out of me and Liam, who was the better ball player? Put it out there.
Well,
it's okay.
At what position?
It's unfair because you play totally different aspects of ball.
I never thought.
I'm not answering that fucking question.
I don't care. You can say Liam.
I'll tell you what, Lee could fucking swing it though.
Hey man, swing it, and if anyone fucked up, Malik was coming in to back up anyone. Fozzie had a panic attack on first. Here I go, baby.
League might have you at the dish, but I might take Liam at short over you, Lee.
No, you can take short. Put me in the outfit. I'm good to go. I'm good. I'll sit in the outfit all day. When I had the speed, I don't have the speed anymore, and no more after that one.
Hey, join the club. Brother. Join the club.
Hey Yannick, I really appreciate you coming out, brother. It's good to see you, guys. We're gonna go ahead and switch over to football.
Thanks, Yannick.
All right, it was fun, man. It was really fun. Thanks for having me out here.
But all right, let's start off. We're gonna talk about some football talk. The end of the season. I wanted to see if I have a take of bias that's going on.
Okay.
At the end of the season, this was the first weekend I was like, fuck, man. Like, there's no more football on, man. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? And just so happened that we had some sports teams, like, step up. We've seen some, college basketball, some baseball shit go on in the news now. But I feel like truly in America, like, where I'm at in my circle, like, football really carries you through so much. Like, you got the college football starting in August. It carries you up through the holidays, through everything, to where you realize, like, damn, now it's going to be the long dog days of summer until football begins again. What's your opinion on that? Do you feel the same, or are you hyped like baseball season starting?
I guess a little bit of both. Like, it was definitely weird having a Sunday just to do nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing.
I mean, I'm a big baseball guy. March Madness is like my March into April is like my favorite time of the year. March Madness is fucking awesome. Baseball is my sport. But no, I mean, you're right. Like, football is king for sure. And it was interesting because when you like kind of text me that, like, is the NFL, like, is football in general, like, the king? Like, do they overrule all of other sports? Fuck yeah. Because you're definitely not alone in thinking, like, sitting there on Sunday and being like, damn, bro, like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah, that's all it is. I'm just like, legit, Sunday, I was like, it's 2:00 on a Sunday and I'm at the gym right now. And I was there all night. Like, I was there. I just had nothing to do. Also, I think we're starting to see that possibly the reemergence of XFL, USFL. I'm seeing the XFL more than USFL, but the XFL bringing a big comeback. I guess they may have signed some big contracts or whatever it may be, but they're getting a lot of coverage, and they had themselves probably the most, like, at the end of a game, buzzer beaters to win a game than any other teams. But they have some cool, like, new, like, initiatives and, like, I mean, rules to come out of it, such as, like, what is it? Don't punt and get a 4th and 15 or something like that.
I think so. I know that's like their onside kick rule too, right? It's like 4th and 15. But then they also have, to your point of these buzzer beater game ending, like, there's not only a 2-point play after you score a touchdown. Like, you can go for 3, right? Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's what you need to do in a league like that, because it's not the NFL. So, like, bring more shit like that in that kind of, has us just watch football.
So the debate has come up of this is a possibility of what you could see for NFL teams getting a farm system. In my eyes, I don't think it's possible, because I see two ways. One, it could be a thing that, like, you get, like, okay, let's just say, like, the Dallas Cowboys, who have a lot of money. Our farm team could have the best, facilities, stuff like that. We have a double practice, like, type of team. Like, we have a practice team in the NFL, and we pretty much have that team that if something goes down, we can bring them up to practice. Or even, like, let's say you ran into the situation with the San Francisco. I have at least quarterbacks to go through. That's on my, my farm league team. But at the same time, it's like you could face injury. But again, baseball teams have this as well. They have their farm systems in which they bring these players up, and they go from farm straight to sometimes on the bench, like they're there at the games, like that quick. So what I think it's a dope idea to have to see like another league big up and partner up with the NFL. And I think the XFL is doing that. Yeah,
and like you said, like it's just that would be so tough to implement. Because like how you're going to get a team, like a farm team like that for every single NFL team, it's like almost impossible. And it's almost the fact of like, I think, what's his name? Turpin, like your punt returner, he's from the USFL or the XFL. Yeah. And like we've seen these guys be picked up on NFL rosters. So essentially it is kind of like a little farm system, almost like another way for them to scout. So again, it's cool that these dudes are like getting these second chances and making an impact on NFL rosters. And again, like it's nice to have when we're missing football. Like I just had it on in the background like last weekend or 2 weekends ago. Like, I really wasn't watching it, but like just to have the noise of football in the background, like I'm cleaning up the apartment, it's nice to have.
So I think it is an opportunity. Like Chad Johnson said something crazy. He thought like when he left the league and he went into Canadian Football League, he was like, "Fuck, like it's gonna be a waste of my time, the competition." But he said himself, the competition is as much as good as the NFL. You just deal with there's not enough roster spots for everyone. Not everyone can make a team, and it's out there to make teams. There's so many people that's trying to get to the league. That's why you have so many leagues in basketball, NBA, G League, overseas, because there's just not enough roster spots for this. So I think that no matter what, there's a lot of these. There's a lot of good competition out there for these guys to get on a team. Again, like Turpin did, made stuff. He was like the MVP of XFL or USFL, and then got on the Dallas Cowboys to be our kick returner. So it's like it does in a way give you a chance to do that. But I think I like that it gives people an opportunity to like, hey, maybe I want to keep playing ball. Hopefully my opportunity comes, but at least I have an opportunity to play ball. I don't have to just sit there and do nothing during that time. Yeah. So, you have something else?
No. I was just going to say, I think like Kurt Warner was like an arena football guy or USFL guy and like Hall of Famer now. Yeah. So it's like like you said, there's talent to be had out there. Yeah. So it's cool that you kind of have this rolling.
I mean, your boy. I don't know if he's your boy, but the dude from he's Alabama's old quarterback. He's leading his team. They're 3-0 right now.
XFL. McCarron, I think.
McCarron. McCarron's 3-0 right now in the XFL. He chose, I'd rather go play ball start than go sit on the bench and be a backup. He's probably getting the bag while he's there, and he's also like, let me put some shit on film, and maybe I can go ahead and become a starter eventually.
Exactly.
The last debate I want to have in football. Also, people agreed with me on our heated, the most probably heated debate we've had about the Eagles not being able to run the football. Just so you're aware. People did, and I did not seek them. I did not go out looking for them, but I allow you to do that because you were emotional. And I know you were coming off of the Eagles loss. I'll let you rock.
Look, I've talked to a lot of people that agreed on my end too, so we should get a big group chat going. Yeah, bro. Again, to say that they couldn't run the ball in that type of game, everyone I told say, yo, like listen to this, or like this was my thing, this was Malik's thing. Everyone I talked to agreed with me. So we'll have to get a big.
Were they biased Eagles fans?
Not all of them.
Hey, not all Eagles fans. 95% of them motherfuckers?
Not 95%.
Okay. All right, let me know what team I know it was my boy from the Cowboys.
I'll have to ask him.
Ask him. Because we know what's going to happen now, and when it's boring and there's nothing to do in the summer, we're going to watch back that game. And I'm going to look you dead in your eye.
I'm not watching that game ever again.
Okay. One debate that we kind of were texting back and forth about, I guess, for our last football talk was Lamar versus Hurts. Now, of course, I think that I want to put them at where they're at today because you see where Lamar is at. I don't want to put him back down to 2 or whatever like that. I want to put Lamar versus Hurts in this discussion for where they're at today. Yeah. When I look at this debate, it can go either way. I think it's about your preference on which quarterback you would rather have. Mm-hmm. Of course, I think no matter what you're going with Hurts, but I want to hear what you have to say.
No, I think when you brought it up, I think the first thing I said to you was like, I cannot argue against you either way. Yeah. Like if you want to say Lamar, like I can't sit here and be like, dude, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I can't. Of course I got to ride with my guy Jalen Hurts. And to me, it's really two things that I'm going to like nitpick at, right? Because Lamar's awesome. Like he's fucking electric. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to, and with a player like that, like you have to nitpick. So the two things, one, which normally I fucking hate this argument, but is the availability. We've seen Lamar now rack up a few of these injuries. Kind of how he's built and how his game is. He's not Jalen Hurts. that was one of my things when people had the worry on a running quarterback like Jalen Hurts. The way the dude lifts and like kind of like stocks himself up, I think he protects himself from a lot of those hits, as to where Lamar, you know, again, like we've seen at the end of the season, like he wasn't even able to come back for their playoff game. Mm-hmm. And now kind of shifting into that playoff mode, we've seen Jalen Hurts in his first real year as a starter struggle in the playoffs against the Bucs, and then come out this year and again say whatever you want, but his team was in the Super Bowl, and in the biggest game, you know, he made one big mistake with that fumble, but I mean, he lit it up. You know, we already had this conversation. Like, I really believe that he was the best player on that field. So he's shown this playoff success as to where I don't think I've seen it with Lamar just yet. So I pulled up his playoff stats, and it's bad. It's a passer rating of 68, 900 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions in 4 playoff games. He's also been sacked 19 times in 4 games. And, you know this as an offensive lineman. Not all sacks are on the offensive line. Like sometimes, especially with a quarterback like Lamar that may be trying to do a little too much, it is on him. So when I look at, like you said,
that could be coverage sacks as well.
You're right. But 19 in 4 games is an insane number. Yeah. So I think when I look at his availability right now, and again, small sample sizes for both guys. Both have played in 4 playoff games, but Jalen Hurts has had the more success. And again, you brought up a good point, which I'm sure you will. Lamar's never had a team like Jalen Hurts just had. Yeah. So I will give that to you. Yeah. But again, in the grand scheme of things, like, I don't think Jalen Hurts will make those mistakes that Lamar has in the playoffs.
So when I look at, again, I think right now I would still go with Hurts because of personal preference. I like my quarterback to have a lot more size. Yeah. Jalen Hurts has that size. Lamar's a little hurt. I think Lamar has better, when I think of like fucking beaming that ball and fucking accuracy, I'm going to give it to Lamar. I just think Lamar has had to be the Superman. I think if you put Jalen Hurts on that team, you see Jalen Hurts doing the same thing, trying to be Superman. But again, I would love to see, like, if the Ravens want to fucking pay him, but also go out and get him weapons to have. I mean, he's had his leading guy who has been Andrews, right, the tight end. Yeah, that's been his guy. That's not enough, like, in my eyes, to be like, you got to throw him off. You know what I mean? Like, he's had to really be Superman. So I would love to see him go somewhere and have a system that he could just ball out. Did you see that the Falcons put up, like, they were selling number 1 jerseys?
I did. Was that real?
I don't know. I tried to look into it, and I was like, if that shit, I thought it would, because they just let Mariota go. I was
going to say,
Falcons just let Mariota go. So I'm like, if they move him there, at the end of the day, I feel like he's walking into the same situation. Like, he's not really walking into nothing different. But I would love it. To me, it just makes no sense why Lamar's not paid. Like, if you want to talk about racism, like, in the league, that's because if it was just Josh Allen would have been got paid. Like, this is your guy. Like, there's no reason not to pay him. Tell me why. Like, I want to know what in those means. Unless he's asking for something astronomical, like that, like it's just unbelievable. Right. Then I understand that. But again, get your chicken, bro, as my boy would say.
And it's so tough because, like, I agree with him. I think what he wants, at least what I've heard, like, we will never know. Yeah. He wants, like, a Deshaun Watson type contract. For, like, Deshaun Watson didn't play in the league for a fucking year and got a fully guaranteed contract. Now, the Browns are stupid for that, and we understand. Yeah. But if I'm Lamar, I'm saying the same thing. Like, I'm an MVP. Without you or without me, this team is what? Yeah. Like, they got a great defense, but like you just said, there's nothing on offense. Like, I am the offense. I fully understand why he wants that fully guaranteed contract. I understand why every player would want that. Yeah. But I guess the Ravens, and again, what's tough now is he is his own agent. So when you're going back and forth at the negotiating table, that Ravens team is going to put every negative connotation to him on why they shouldn't pay him. You're hurt. Yeah. You missed this throw. You missed this throw. You did this. Like, everything I just said against him for why I want Jalen Hurts, like, they're doing that tenfold. What's that relationship going to be like if he does sign a contract? Yeah. That I didn't think about that. That's a good point. You're like, bitch, you didn't want to pay me. You said all those negative things about fuck you, but it's like, it's business. Business is business. Yeah. So you have to separate yourself. It'd be interesting to see. I think this year we're going to see a lot of big moves. Lamar, if you'd like to come to America's team, we have an open spot for you. Yeah. Please just walk on. It's there for you, Brody. Trust me. Want to move to college hoops? Yeah, let's do it. Do you have some scores from this weekend or anything like that? Any crazy games? Yeah, I can pull them up real quick. It was it was crazy. Let me ask you while I'm pulling this up. I know you're a big Ohio State football guy. Do you follow Ohio State basketball at all?
No, we won't even be in it this year. I went on and looked, and I was like, we are trash. We started to get it together a little bit, but it's so bad. But no matter what, we're putting that money out for Bronny to come to Ohio State. So just believe that if Bronny comes, you'll see something different out of me.
Crazy. Well, I'm a big Nova guy. They've been struggling. Jay Wright, I'm sure you know, left this past year, so it's a weird transition year. But this weekend, man, it was a little peek into March Madness that we all love. And you brought it up earlier. Hey, man, football, the NFL, it's done. College football, it's done. Now it's college basketball's time to shine. Yeah. And they did it. We had number 7 Arizona lose on a buzzer beater against Arizona State. We had, what was that other? Oh, number 13 Miami lost to a Florida State team who had 8 wins going into it. They blew a 25-point lead, Miami did, and lost on a near half-court buzzer beater. Yeah. There was a few other crazy buzzer beater shots. There was a top 10 matchup between Baylor and Texas, and Baylor ended up holding off Texas. But again, I think what this does is it leads perfectly into
March Madness,
the thing that everybody's going to be filling out a bracket at work, and everybody's going to be like betting on the games. Like you have, I think it's this week. Then you have these conference tournaments happen, which is always fun and exciting, and then you have the big dance. So it was cool to see the first like real big weekend as the storm kind of like fades away. That was the Super Bowl. All eyes were on college basketball this weekend. There was nothing else really on, again, except for baseball, which people were bitching about like we did. But like that was the sport to watch, and it shined. It was awesome. Every game I feel like I watched this weekend was awesome.
I actually was like, when it came to what was it? Did you see that the coach and ref stare down?
That was the game. Did you see
Iowa,
that
Michigan.
game went?
Yeah, that was Iowa, Michigan.
Crazy, like 13-point comeback in a minute with a minute left.
I think. Did you? So what is your opinion on the stare down?
I fucking love it, man. And the background on that coach is he's known as a hothead. Like he's known to blow up on refs. So, I mean, listen, can you throw him out for looking at you?
But I mean, that's what happened. Like if you look like I forget how long ago it was. It's a famous clip of who was it? Fuck. He's a podcast. You see him on podcasts nowadays. But he was just staring down the ref, old school, staring down the ref, and the ref just teed him up. Bang, he's out of there. Yeah. And he's like, he didn't even do anything. He just looked at you. He didn't even say anything. And he's like, no, he was trying to intimidate me. Teed up, he's out of here. So I was like, oh, fuck, is that going to happen? I had respect for that ref because that ref was a young bull. And the head coach, what was the coach? Fran McCaffrey.
Fran McCaffrey, yeah.
He took 3 steps to him. And then
the ref did too, yeah.
Yeah, no. He said 2 steps first. Then you see the ref go, I'm here. And he didn't break stride.
No, that's a great point. It was almost like because then you did see like the assistant coaches like grab me like, all right, man, like you probably are going to get teed up here. So you're right. It was cool that the ref kind of like let it play. Like, let's have this moment. I know you want to curse me out right now. Like, go right ahead. It was sick.
I love it. I love being able to see that it was just like, hey, he's holding the ball like a bitch. He's like, yeah. And I was like, yes, bro. I put some on myself. I'm like, I respect this ref.
Respect to him because, again, refs all the time try to make it about themselves. Like, he could have easily teed him up right away and had the conversation be, oh, why'd he do it right away? Good on him to be, step toe-to-toe with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think, so speaking on that, you see probably the worst move possible by any, and the coaches fucking suck for what he said. So the Alabama, if you don't know, look into the Alabama player. Like there is this whole thing with a player who is said to have killed. I think he got he's arrested already on trial, I think, for killing a 23-year-old woman. The way they were able to see this as well is that one of the players who's still playing, Brandon Miller, is said to have brought the gun to the guy. The guy texted him, hey, bring my gun. And then he went on and killed someone. So Brandon Miller is still playing for Alabama. And as everyone has the walkout, they had somehow they dap up and then they go check in for the game. Well, Brandon Miller and like a legit like walk on or whatever, the walk on patted him down. Optically, this looks ridiculous. Like, you cannot be more stupid in the entirety of your life to be involved in the killing of a woman and be so insensitive to do a pat down and be like, we've done it the whole season. Well, you don't do it now. You don't do it now. Yep. And the coach doubles down and says, I don't know what my players are doing when they go out there. Like, what the fuck? What are we doing? It's an unfortunate situation. I think the background on this kid, he's a top NBA draft prospect.
Like,
he'll definitely go top 4. That's what I saw. And I was like, fuck.
And
that's why he's playing still.
The first game after this happened, he dropped 41. Like, he's an incredible player, but it's like, you're right. The coach is so tone deaf to the whole situation of, I don't know what my players do outside of practice. Well, that's fucking bullshit. Yeah. That's bullshit right away. Secondly, like what you just said, this is a warm-up announcement, like little celebration he does, like pat him down. And I'm sure he didn't mean anything malicious to it, like as the season was going on. But as a coach, like, bro, like, you know what your player's doing, right? Maybe you don't know what they do outside the court. Well, guess what? That's a game. You know what your guys' celebrations are before the game. Maybe take him back and be like, yo, that little pat down you do, don't fucking do it for the rest of the season. Yeah. Because, I don't know if you know what's going on right now, but you're involved in a murder case. Yeah. So everything about this entire situation is just so fucked.
But in my eyes, that just shows you how fucking shiesty Bama is, because I look at that as like the boosters, the people being like, don't worry, we have the best lawyers on this case. This kid will go far. We want Bama to possibly win the fucking whole March Madness. He needs to play. He's a top 4 pick. Fucking keep him on the court. In my eyes, any player that's under and involved in a criminal trial, especially at this caliber, why is he still playing? Yep. You're still involved. Fuck it. I'm sorry you lose your season. You were involved. No matter what, you had a gun. You're in D1 star basketball player. Why are you putting yourself in that situation to have a gun? Yeah. No.
And let me ask you this. If that walk-on player that patted him down, right? If he was the one in that situation, do you think he'd be still on the team?
Fuck no. If he doesn't score 40, if he's not scoring 40, Brandon Miller scores 40. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. Yeah, exactly. Be involved in a murder case and still be balling out. And then my thing is, okay, granted, you're not in the news for them still letting you play, but then you do that. You're that dumb that you do that. Like, you fucking idiot. Like, at least don't do that, bro. Like, you everyone knows you're involved in the case, but okay, he's still playing. He's doing what he has to do. Mm-hmm. A lot of people will turn a blind eye to great athletes. But to be a great athlete and be stupid as that, come on, son. Like, exactly. I have no sympathy for you.
None.
It was,
again, the coach, bro. The coach should get every bit of it too.
Because you see him, like, I don't want to hear that, like, we did this all year. Because you know at this point what you're doing it for is to be like, to pretty much do like the glove didn't fit, you must have quit type shit, like OJ type thing. Like, you see him with his face, like, pat me down. Exactly. I'm balling. Like, that to me looks like a fucking entitled fuck that's like. And that's what people hate. Like, people hate student athletes for those reasons. It's like he's untouchable. He made himself look like he's untouchable, and he looks like a douchebag. Yeah, he looked really bad. But I think that I'm excited for March Madness. I think the team to look out for that I've been paying attention to, Houston. Yeah. I've been liking Houston. Every time I'm at the gym, they're on, and I'm like, fuck, they are fucking good. They're fun. Besides that, I haven't been paying attention to anybody else because I've just been watching Houston actually rip shit. But I'm excited for this March Madness to see some different teams and actually be a part of it. They want to do some betting this March Madness.
You should, bro.
We should do some betting and stuff.
We'll get something up. I know we'll have like a bigger show on it as it kind of comes. But next week, Houston's been fun. I like UCLA. They got a couple veteran guards that I think is really important to have when you're going into this dance. And a team to look out for, which kind of sounds weird, is Gonzaga. They've always been the team that just runs through their shitty conference, have a couple of really good ball players. They're ranked number 1, number 2, number 3. They've struggled a little bit this season, especially early on, because they've scheduled teams like Alabama. I think they played Kentucky. They played Tennessee maybe. Like, they've played a handful of powerhouse schools. I think this team's a little bit different. I think they're battle-tested. I don't know if they'll win it, but going back to betting, I think they're 28-1 odds to win. I'd throw a little bit down on a veteran team.
But I feel like Gonzaga's always in that conversation.
Exactly.
15 or Elite 8. Like, they're always in there somewhere.
They've always had the expectation of, you've been the number 1 team in the nation all year. Yeah. Now you don't have that. Now you have, you're just another good team. They'll probably be a 3 seed or a 4 seed in the tournament.
Okay.
Maybe they just go out and ball. I don't know. But
so what happens on, like, I saw when I was doing my research of, like, the Elite Sunday, or like the Sunday they get the announcement.
Selection Sunday, yeah.
Okay. That's
so what's going to happen now is I think every team will probably have, in the major conferences at least, I think what will start now is the conference tournaments for those smaller schools like the Florida Gulf Coasts or the Loyola Chicagos. Like, those tournaments are going on. Whoever wins those tournaments, you're in the tournament. You're in the big dance. Like, it doesn't matter if you didn't win a single game this year. If you win your conference, like, you're in.
Okay.
As for the bigger conferences, the ACCs, the Big East, the Big 12s, like all those, they probably have one or two more games apiece. And then I think next week we'll start their conference tournaments. And then once they're all said and done, Selection Sunday is when we get the bracket out. So that's when teams find out if they're in or not. That's when teams find out if they're whatever seeding that they are. Like we just said with Gonzaga, maybe they're a 3 seed in the actual tournament. There will be 4 of each seed. So there's going to be 4 1 seeds, 4 2 seeds, 4 3 seeds, like whatever. And then I think the 14th, March 14th, a Tuesday, is going to be what they call a first 4 in, where it's just 2 different games, I believe. And it's almost like the last 4, they almost couldn't pick, so they just play each other to get into the tournament. Almost like a wild card weekend.
Yeah. But I don't understand. So if I win my division, like if I win the Big Ten, I'm automatically in. And then let's say like the other like 2 teams, like Rutgers or like that, you're just hoping you get in?
Exactly. So if that's a good example. Let's take Rutgers, who's a team kind of on the bubble right now, and your Ohio State Buckeyes, which probably won't make it. Well, let's say Ohio State.
Put Michigan instead of Ohio State at this point. Yeah.
So Michigan, who might be on the bubble too. If Michigan wins that Big Ten tournament, they're automatically in. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to be a high seed. Like, they'll be seeded correctly. Yeah. But Rutgers, now, like, that just adds to their resume of, hey, maybe we made it to the finals or the semifinals in the Big Ten. Like, we were right on that cusp. Maybe we get in or out. But as for the other teams, like a Purdue, who's number 5 or 4 in the nation all year, let's say they lose first round, they'll still be in. But it'll, like, hurt their seeding.
The rankings. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I like that. Like, I feel like I should know, like, going into it, like, our season record, we may have lost the first round of the tournament, but no matter what, we should be granted in because we have a certain record in comparison to anyone else. Based on the teams we played as well. Like, I mean, if you look at it, like, that's like the seeding of college football, right? You go off of who you played, and they redo it all year. I feel like that's bullshit if, like, a team sneaks in. Is that why you see those videos of teams, like, like celebrating that they made in, like, the watch party?
Exactly.
Okay.
But again, like, in the same token, I think that's what makes it so exciting is because, again, like, as a Villanova fan, they're a 500 basketball team right now. They legitimately could win the Big East tournament and be in. Like, that's awesome as a fan of that school. But, I mean, you're right. Like, again, take the best team, like, take a Purdue who might lose in the first or second round and get upset. Like, that's just all part of it, man. Like, you just weren't the better team. Like, maybe you should be penalized. But I think that's just what makes it so fun. It's like this next month is just going to be craziness, and it starts with that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I can't wait to be actually, like, watching it all while I'm at work.
I know.
One last thing that I wanted to speak on was the Jake Paul fight. Did you see anything with the Jake Paul fight?
I saw a little bit.
So I actually was in the barbershop and I watched the whole thing. I didn't watch it the day of. I was getting a haircut. And I was like, oh, they turned it on to watch the replay. I am one of those guys that, like, I wanted to see the Paul brothers lose. Like, I'm like, I feel like the everyday fan watched it because they're like, there's no way Jake Paul beats this person.
Yeah.
There was no way he would have beat Anderson Silva. Like, I did not see that coming, right? So he beat him. So it's like all this shit. So then watching this one, he went against Fury, Tyson Fury's brother.
Yeah.
And he lost. But when you watch that fight back, people are saying, like, yeah, he got outboxed. I don't know how he got outboxed when you see Jake Paul knock him down twice.
Yeah.
In my eyes, how do you see him get knocked down twice and then he still loses the fight? Again, Tyson Fury was home though. Like, he was in like, he was over there. So I was like, I don't like this at all. Like, I didn't feel like he got the fair advantage in that. But at the same time, at the same token, it felt a little, he got his due. Like, he did just get, like, a little bit of, like, I don't know. Like, Jake has definitely had the upper hand at times. Yeah. I think he doesn't rematch, like, because he had a clause in his thing, like, you can rematch or you don't. Like, if he wants it, right? Don't rematch. This, if anything, heightens it because people were looking at Jake Paul like, oh shit, now he has to go fight real fighters. Like, he has to go fight real boxers because of where he was able to win. Now I feel like now he can go back. He can go back and start fighting like what's the dude? The dudes in what's called like, in England, KSI. He could fight these like celebrities. Stay celebrity boxing because no matter what, that makes you more money. Don't go and say I want Canelo. Like stay in that realm of things. So I felt he got cheated, and I'm a fuck Jake. I like him as a person, but as a boxer, I want to see him get beat up by someone that's black. That's just my opinion.
No, I'm with you. I don't like either of them either. Jake or Logan. I don't like him either. And it was exactly like he was beating dudes that were like not real boxers, like you just said.
Yeah.
So the one time he kind of fought a fighter, no disrespect to any of them, they'd all kick my fucking ass. But you know what I mean when I say that, like he lost. And you're right. Did he get cheated out because he knocked him down a couple times? I have to look back at a lot of the rounding statistics. I think the one that stuck out to me was like the amount of punches that were thrown. Fury, I think, like tripled Jake Paul's. So again, it kind of like goes hand in hand, and like you're fighting a real fighter now, my guy. And if you get in the ring,
that's what Sean May say. Like Sean May is a big boxing fan, and he was like, anytime you put up Jake Paul, they're like, well, he's fighting an MMA guy. No matter what, MMA guys aren't boxers. Like they fight, they're not boxers. But when you go up to someone that's a boxer that has like that's been boxing their whole life, you know, like he's probably not. He's nowhere close to his brother Tyson Fury. But no matter what, he has the ethics, the knowledge of boxing. Oh yeah, and look what happened. He did lose. So it's like. Yeah,
it's a
fuck
completely
that, bro.
different game. It's a completely different game.
Yeah.
So you're right.
I want to start getting into that stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. And again, like what he did, to be fair, again, I don't like him, but it made people like you and I that may not be the biggest boxing fans know that there were fights happening, you know, and like and having to be talked about. Like boxing is a little bit of a dying sport, I think, too, especially with the emergence of UFC. I think that's just completely taken over. So like it's cool. It's cool what he's doing, and I mean, again, he's beating the dudes that I guess he should have. I can't fault him for that. But like you said, bro, you can't just continue right now and try to face better boxers because you're going to get your ass kicked.
Well, no one can say that like Jake Paul didn't revitalize boxing because boxing was dead. Once Mayweather was gone, it was like who the fuck is left to box? So I think that he brought back the sport. But again, like I think it's good for the sport. A lot of people are pissed like this isn't good for the sport. But you look at Mayweather. Mayweather goes over to like the Philippines and like fights for like $50 million and just beats up a guy and leaves.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Get his money and he walks away. So I think it's good for the sport because it puts more eyes on it. I think what's bad for the sport is when you start doing like Twitch and like the fucking like bullshit. Like go back to like the real boxing where you're in Vegas, you know, you're in MMG, like that shit. Like that to me is better. It's crazy to think that he's able to do that, but hey, no one's saying he's not a business guy. I can't dig it.
Definitely, man.
I can get down with it. Hey man, I'm excited for next week. We got some college basketball to talk about, some bets, some Liam's locks. This is Liam's time now. Some Liam locks for what he thinks.
We got to get some Malik too, bro. Now that you're getting into the betting scene, I want to see some of your locks. What do you think?
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take. I want to take it like a Malik journey. Like, let's see what I could turn this $100 into. Yeah, like doing this bets. I want to see if I lose it all in one shot. I lose it all in one shot. I'm never doing it again. But let's see what I could turn this $100 into.
I like it.
Anything else you want to say, brother?
No. I think it was a good show. Listen, for football being over, I think we did a good job of kind of covering all the bases.
Yeah, now this is when real journalism comes into play, right? This is when we have to start thinking about our debates, or we have to start thinking about new topics that we want to share that can get the people thinking of like any sport, but get you to think about, oh shit, that's really out there. Looking at the trades, we got to start talking about as well the draft and what do we see in our league and all season stuff. So this is when the real journalism research begins.
Definitely.
But hey, continue to support. Please go hit that subscribe button and that notification. Catch us on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at In Those We Trust Podcast. Follow us on Instagram at WeTrust_podcast, and follow my guy on the Instagram at
Liam Stokes 11.
Yes, sir. Peace, guys.
All right. Thanks, Lee.